Fulton coming to you on a Victory Monday. They're back. And it was not just a Victory Monday. It was a trio of victories over the weekend.
Remember when you said you weren't going to care about Franmil Reyes, and I said just wait until he, hits the ball like 400 and a billion feet. And then he proceeded to hit a ball 400 and a billion feet.
Yeah, and I won't care until he actually does it in a major league ballpark and not in Arizona.
That's fair.
But
some of us are half glass full guys. Some guys are glass half empty guys.
Some guys are, I'm going to wait until it actually matters, guys.
That's fair.
And that is what this guy is. Welcome in. Jake and Fulton caster with you. We got lots to discuss today, including a win for the K-State Wildcats on the road, a win over the West Virginia Mountaineers for the Kansas Jayhawks, although they did play with their food a little bit in that game, and the undefeated Kansas City Royals. 3-0. We will talk a little Royals baseball today. We will break down what occurred over the weekend coming up at the bottom of the hour, including pace of play. Some people are dying on a hill that the pitch clock is bad. Some people are ecstatic it is good. I just have one question, and we won't know until opening day.
Yeah.
Game 3, game 4, game 5. And after that, I think it'll take 1 week, and then I will have my answer.
Okay.
We will get to that coming up in just a little bit. We'll talk Big 12 hoops, talk a little Chiefs. We'll get into all of that. David Lesky will join us to talk all things Royals baseball. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. It is so simple. It is so easy. Let us know your thoughts on this afternoon. And check us out on YouTube. Very simple, very easy. Go to YouTube, type in Sports on 580, click on it, subscribe, like, and it should be a lot of fun. And let us know in the comments as well. So let us know your thoughts on one. KU and K-State are playing well, and I think K-State is 2 wins away from being a 2 seed and playing in Des Moines along with KU. Like, that's how close we are. And I think KU is 2 wins away from being the overall number 1. And that has nothing to do with the Big 12 tournament. But Kansas State has a legit chance at a 2 seed in the Big 12 tournament. They really, really do. And they've got 2 games that are very winnable. Tomorrow or Wednesday at home against Oklahoma, and then on the road at West Virginia. You win those 2 games, regardless of what happens in Kansas City, I think they are a 2 seed.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
The last 2 wins for K-State against Baylor, who still is a top 10 team because Baylor beat Texas. We'll get into that in just a smidge.
Thank you, Bears. Appreciate you.
Told you. And I look at what K-State has done. K-State, this is their record against the top 4 teams in the Big 12. 1-1 against Kansas, 1-1 against Texas, and you swept Baylor. Those are the top 4 teams in the Big 12. You win 2 more games, you are 12-6 in Big 12 play. You're a 2 seed.
Yeah.
A 2 seed. I cannot, you have to keep saying that. Kansas State, I think, will be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. They had 2 players on the roster at the start of May. 2.
Count them, 2.
One of them was Marquise Noel. One of them was a bench player in Ish Masood. They had 2. I feel like I'm the math teacher on Willy Wonka. 2? I can't do just 2. They weren't supposed to even make the tournament. We said, hey, a good year in the Big 12 would be being on the bubble.
Yeah.
That's a good win against Oklahoma State. Winning on the road is hard. It is very, very difficult. The thing that I loved about this game, and this is why I think K-State had their little February doldrums, but now I think K-State could be a scary, scary team in the NCAA tournament because, one, they've got good guard play. Marquise Noel has been fantastic. And we talked about that on Friday. There are 3 locks in the Big 12 on first team all Big 12. And it is Keontae Johnson, Marquise Noel, and Jalen Wilson. And frankly, all 3 of them should be unanimous first team all pick. If they are not, then I'm questioning what the hell these coaches are looking at. And that also tells me that there's politicking going, well, if I put this guy in, then my guy has a better chance of getting in, which I understand happens, but shame on you. You should go with who's the best player.
Yeah.
But they've got a closer in Marquise Noel. He's playing excellent right now, and it helps when you have one of the best free throw shooters in the history of the Big 12 holding the basketball at the end of the game. But K-State, they were down 6 with 10 minutes to play. They were down 1 with 6 to play. And they end up winning the game with real no threat because it was a 7-point game before the final bucket, and K-State ends up winning by 5. You get some big-time threes from Johnson and Masood, and you played excellent defense in the game. You give up 65 points. If you're K-State, you're going to win a lot of games. And that is what you need to have in March and in the NCAA tournament. First of all, you have to have guard play.
Yep.
If you don't have guard play, I don't care. That's why Purdue, they ain't making the Final Four. Sorry, Matt Painter, you still ain't making a Final Four. They don't have guard play. You've got gigantic Goliath underneath, but unless your guards can make buckets, they don't have guard play. They ain't going to go that far. K-State's got guard play. And then you've also got a matchup problem in Keontae Johnson, who can go inside and outside. To me, Marquise Noel is going to be the reason why they make a run, because if he plays well, K-State is excellent. But if Keontae Johnson doesn't play well, and that's why you saw the little swoon for Kansas State, what was the reason and why was the reason K-State wasn't winning as much during that stretch? One, they were turning it over. Keontae Johnson was a part of that, and he was not playing well. Keontae Johnson is the Wildcats MVP, because when he plays well and he is like this, an efficient Keontae Johnson, K-State will be in every game. If Marquise Noel plays like he did in the game against Oklahoma State, then K-State wins those games. To me, there is a difference. Now, some people say, no, Jake, you're completely wrong. That is how I view this K-State team. If Keontae Johnson is the efficient, he has to give you those minutes and those points because, one, he's so important inside, so important defensively. And he can step out and shoot the three. He went 3 for 5. He had 17 points. I know Marquise Noel ended up with 22, but Marquise Noel is kind of the closer, but Keontae Johnson is the starter for this team, and I thought he was excellent in this game. He was so good against Oklahoma State, especially late. And with Desi Sills, he gives you some punch as your shooting guard. I like where K-State is at, and that's why I think K-State will take care of business against Oklahoma. I think they're going to beat West Virginia, and I think there's a puncher's chance that they finish second in the Big 12 if KU actually tries on Saturday.
Yeah, that comes down to, will KU actually try? They usually give some level of effort even when they've clinched the conference. Because if KU beats Texas Tech on Tuesday night, they clinch at least a share.
Correct.
No matter what happens, nothing changes. They are at least a share of the Big 12 champions. Then Wednesday gets interesting because if TCU beats Texas on Wednesday, KU has won the Big 12. Nothing will change. They will be 2 up on Texas with 1 game left.
And the game at Texas is at TCU.
Yep.
So I've said this from...
Like, we could crown a Big 12 champion at the end of Wednesday evening, and KU doesn't even play a game that day.
I said, and I still believe this, I said Texas had too tough of a schedule going on the road to Baylor and going on the road to TCU. I said they're not going to win both of them. Baylor got the win. Good win for Baylor. I think Texas will rebound. I think Texas will find a way to beat TCU. And I think KU is going to smush Texas Tech at home on Senior Day because that's what it always happens. And they'll wheel out, 19 Big 12 titles out there on James Naismith Court. They'll have the national championship, trophy out there and all that kind of stuff when the seniors, do their thing. When Jalen Wilson will speak. And then I think Texas is going to win at home. And I think there's going to be a share because history has told me that this is what occurs. KU has done this a couple times where they have a chance to get it outright and it's just not quite there. And some people you get surprised about. But different players, different makeup, obviously.
It just happens. I mean,
but
the first time KU had ever been swept in a regular season by one team was when Oklahoma State did it.
Yeah.
And they won on the final day of the year because KU had nothing to play for and they just didn't care.
They got smushed.
Yeah. And you could tell watching them playing it, they were just not there.
And I think that's what's going to happen because I'm surprised. Texas is really good.
Yeah,
and
Texas is really good.
It's going to be at home.
Yeah.
Now, if it's going to be in Austin.
Yeah.
Texas at home. If this were Senior Day at Allen Fieldhouse, then I'm going to take KU. But it's not. It's on the road. That's why I think it will happen. And K-State was terrific. KU, I DVR. I normally DVR all of the Big 12 games because when I'm on the road for Washburn or at home and I don't get a chance to watch the games live, I always DVR them. Shout out to the DVR. So I can watch them on Sunday. So I watched the K-State game yesterday. It's much easier to watch the games now because there's no Chiefs. I did not even record KU versus West Virginia. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not. I didn't watch a single play of that because I thought KU would stomp them. And I look at the stats and I see KU shot 54% from the field. Wow, that's really good. They went 10 of 20 from deep. Oh my goodness. DeJuan Harris and Kevin McCullough combined for 33. What the hell happened? Why did this come down to the final play? I saw the final play of the game, which was honestly terrific defense from KU.
Yes.
But also, I thought West Virginia didn't panic when KU just completely stopped everything. And, they ran through their action once, ran through it twice. They got nothing. Then, of course, they had to throw up a prayer. But it was nice to see West Virginia not absolutely crap themselves.
Yeah.
After the first time it didn't work and somebody went all Javon Carter against Texas A&M in the NCAA tournament where you just shot hunted. It was excellent defense. But that's one of the best offensive games that KU has played all year. And they won by 1 point. And this 2 points. And this is the reason why you can shoot 54% from the field, go 10 of 20 from deep for KU. They should win every game by double figures. And they would, except for the most sneaky underlying stat to me in all of basketball. Second chance points. KU gave up way too many second chance points. And then too many turnovers.
Yeah.
West Virginia shot it 10 more times than KU. 10 more. They shot it 40%.
Yeah.
Folks, if you shoot it 10 times and you shoot it 40%, they're technically 45? That's 4 made baskets.
Yeah.
4 made baskets is at minimum 8 points. There's your double figure game that we all thought would occur. KU, when they play with their food a little bit, as we like to call it, they play with their food when they don't rebound. And that is the reason why KU almost gave that away in the game against West Virginia, is because they piddled around, rebound. They didn't take West Virginia seriously because that is the only reason that this game came down to the very end. You shoot 54%.
It was a combination of definitely a little bit of lacking of locked in. And, I mean, part of those turnovers were just some of the most egregious officiating I've ever seen in my life. And it affected West Virginia, too, so I'm not going to sit here and say, like, it always is both-sided. But, like, it was a combination of KU wasn't locked in, and West Virginia got a lot of extra buckets because the officials in college basketball love calling charges. Like, a good chunk of KU's turnovers in that game were charge calls. And some egregious charge calls at that. Like, but it's not
real quick. I did not watch the full game. I watched like the last.
Yeah, and that's why I know you didn't like that. That's an important factor.
The only thing that I'm going to say here, and I'm going to mention this now in perpetuity. That's basketball now.
Yes, I know. Like that's why I'm not. That's why I'm not saying like that is a massive factor, but that's part of why it was close. Because those are turnovers. Those are empty possessions.
Correct.
Those are points off the board. So they have to be factored in. Like, the bigger factor is KU wasn't as locked in defensively the entire game as they should have been. And that was Bill Self's sticking point the entire post-game press conference was they were not great defensively all day until the final possession when they showed their great defense on that final possession.
Yes.
But
which was true.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, had they played better defense all day, it would have been a blowout. It's a combination of poor defense because they weren't locked in. And it didn't help that the officials had a charge palooza. And that didn't help West Virginia either, because West Virginia was victimized by a couple of bad charges. But the officials had a charge palooza. And KU just happened to have more of them called because they hunted to the basket more. And also because West Virginia be ashamed of yourselves. They don't actually like to defend. They just like to hunt charges, which was very annoying early on in the game. West Virginia was not interested in defending basketball. It was find a spot on the floor and just stand there and pray that they run into you and then ask for a charge. And it worked.
I don't get I get upset when you see the play, but then that's just basketball now. Like, officials love to call the charge.
College basketball officials are addicted to the charge call. We've been over this.
I know. They really, really do.
They love the motion. They are obsessed with getting to punch the fist forward.
I don't know if it's that. I just know that if you would track it and it's hard. Sometimes I try to, but there's just so much stuff going on during a game that it's hard. But I bet you they're almost 50-50 block charge. And to me, there's no way that a college basketball player is
that good at being in position to draw the charge. No, I agree. 100%.
We'll get a timeout coming up next. Weekends, takeaways, and fails, and we'll talk some Royals baseball. What happened this weekend? I'm going to roll 3 of them real quick for you. One positive. Dame Lillard dropped 71. If there's an NBA player who I think could drop 70, I would put my money on Dame Lillard because, 1, he'll take that many shots, but 2, when he gets on a heater,
it's unreal.
There are 2 guys when they get on a heater that nobody can stop them. It's Dame and it's Steph, and I think Dame would shoot more than Steph.
Yeah.
But that doesn't surprise me. If someone would be like, yeah, Dame went for 70, you want to be like, yeah, that didn't shock me at all. No. Not at all. That was really cool. Also, I got some fails here over the weekend. 1, Fran McCaffrey, grow up.
Yes.
Fran McCaffrey, just,
grow the hell up.
Just leave.
Child.
Just leave. We have our fair share of opinions on college officials.
Yeah.
College officials, you high school officials.
Y'all good.
Y'all the best. Yep. You're doing the Lord's work.
Thank you for devoting your time.
Yes, you're doing the Lord's work. But college officials, we have our gripe.
Yeah.
But then you've got Fran McCaffrey, who is a child.
Yes.
If I'm the AD of I fire him. I'm sorry, you're gone. I'm not dealing with that.
So fight with an official and then just death stares them for 20 minutes for some stupid reason.
Pathetic.
Child.
And then okay. Are we really at the point where the movie Cocaine Bear is second at the box office? Is that where we're at with Hollywood?
Do you have a problem with Cocaine Bear?
I have a problem with the only reason it's a slightly greater or slightly better movie than Sharknado. Okay, like Cocaine Bear is just there to. It's not even a spoof. It's just.
But at least Cocaine Bear is based on a true story, an embellished true story, but a true story.
But here's my thing: it's not. It has nothing to do with Cocaine Bear. It has the fact that we're producing that poor of movies nowadays that people are like, hey, yeah, let's go check out Cocaine Bear, man. A bear's on cocaine.
Yes.
That's sad.
That's great.
No, that's sad because there should be better movies out there.
You're telling me hearing the story about a bear who snorted a bunch of cocaine does not sound, at least it's kind of entertaining to you.
No.
Well, that's your problem, man.
God.
The real story was funny. The fake story also funny.
Did you go watch it?
Not yet. I'm going to.
You would.
Yes.
Coming up next, we'll talk Royals baseball. We are going to spend the next 3 minutes. That's it.
Okay.
On Cocaine Bear, and then
All
I'm
right.
done. Okay.
All right.
We did
12:34 to 12:37.
Yes. We did get a text from our Big O Tires text line. We love the texters. Let us know. We want you to be part of it. Don't waste your time or money on Cocaine Bear. It is terrible. And I responded to said texter, did you go watch it? Yes. Very boring. The previews are way better than the movie.
I have one question on this, and this is where I'll be in my entire thing. Does the bear do cocaine in the film, eats the cocaine, and then do hijinks ensue? If you can check me both of those boxes, it's a successful movie. That should be your standard for a movie about a cocaine bear. If your standard is any higher, that is your problem, not the film's.
See, I'm going to disagree on everything there. I actually watched the official trailer of Cocaine Bear.
Yes.
It looks horrible.
It looks like a bear on cocaine and hijinks ensue.
No, it doesn't even look like it. It looks the way too. It's got the tryhards way too trying hard in this. And I can get that from our texter. I get like the trailer looks like, as you say, hijinks, but apparently hijinks are mauling and eating people.
Yes, in this context, hijinks are the bear on cocaine mauling and eating people.
Okay. To me, mauling and eating people are not, and I'm using air quotes here, hijinks.
For a movie about a bear on cocaine, those are hijinks.
And I just needed this one person from the text line to mention this, because that is what I got the vibe for watching the trailer. Yeah, there's zero chance now that I'm watching this film.
Okay.
Absolutely zero.
I will watch it and I will let you know how it goes. And I'll probably laugh several times.
I don't think I need this one. It looks just a smidge better. Like Sharknado.
Hilarious.
Absolutely stupid.
Hilarious.
Absolutely stupid.
So stupid, it's funny.
See, to me, I need something semi like Napoleon Dynamite. So stupid.
Good movie, very funny.
So stupid, it's funny.
See, that movie doesn't qualify as so stupid. It's just a well-made film.
No, it's so stupid. So stupid. But the quotes there make that thing hilarious.
Yes.
There's something about this that's got too much Sharknado on it. Just
there's levels to the films you need to enjoy. This one's a lower level one that you need to have a very low bar and you can enjoy it.
Can't do it.
Just like Sharknado.
Definitely not. Sharknado, awful.
All right. It has been 3 minutes.
Yes.
We're off Cocaine Bear, Ronda the Royals, MLB's version of a bear on cocaine.
Yes.
That's how you do a segue in the biz.
Big O Tires text line. I agree with this statement so strongly. Don't let people keep getting away with making millions off these garbage movies with no substance. Expect better. That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. I agree with that texter right there. But we're going to talk about the Royals.
I want to make one final point.
No, we're going to talk about.
I'm making one final point.
No, we're not. We're
I want to make one final comment.
Royals, and the Royals are undefeated.
I'm being silenced. I am being silenced.
Yes, because
I wasn't going to get into a debate. I was just going to make a comment on it. That's it. I wasn't going to get into a debate. I'm being silenced.
No, we're going to talk about
being silenced.
The Royals, and they are
voice your displeasure, fans.
Undefeated. The Royals are undefeated. How about it? We made money on Friday. Bet not spring training, Fulton.
I'm never doing that again.
We haven't had a moment yet where we can talk about. We both made $4.90 or what? $4.83 or something like that.
Something like that.
We both put $5 down, and we walked away.
We walked away profitable.
Almost $10 in our pocket. How about that?
Man, I'm never betting on spring training baseball ever again.
I won't either. But that made me laugh so much.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yes, I'm gonna bet. I'm looking at games. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, because I had a win this weekend. I predicted K-State and KU to win. I parlayed those two puppies.
I wish I was smarter. I wanted better value, so I parlayed K-State money line with KU to cover. We almost got there at like the 3-minute mark left, and then KU stopped playing defense again, and I wanted to cry.
No, I just did. K-State,
I should have done money line. I would have been home.
Money line,
I should have done it.
And then on a separate bet, I thought TCU was going to win. I did at home against, Texas Tech.
Oh, Texas Tech.
Yeah, okay. I thought Texas Tech would beat TCU. It's like they're at home. It's desperate. They're going to need it. And that was the only thing that I lost this weekend. But we got her done with the Royals on Friday. That was awesome.
I'm proud of us.
I am too. Give you a little
They're a wagon.
A little notable performances over the weekend. The Royals offense, good. Hunter Dozier, home run. Nick Lofton, a home run.
Told you.
Nick Lofton will be interesting in the future on where he plays.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because he was a second baseman in college.
He played second in college. He's played a lot of short in the minors. He's also started getting some run in the center.
Because
there's
he
some
played
questions
at Baylor.
Yeah.
He played at Baylor, but he's got pop with his bat. He does.
A little bit pop in that bat.
He does. The Saturday performance, Barlow looked good.
Yeah.
Hernandez looked very good.
Yeah.
Lovelady looked good. Dylan Coleman looked good. That was great. Best part about that whole entire game on Saturday, 3 walks. 3 walks.
Throw that baby over the middle of the plate and just see what happens.
On Sunday, Reyes hit a baseball 800 feet.
It's awesome.
It helps.
It sounded so good.
It did sound cool. Now, I will say that of the 800 feet that it traveled, 500 feet were due to the wind. So that is helpful. But he did punish a baseball. He really did. Bobby Witt did well. Perez and Isbell both went 1 for 3. Keller and Heasley got roughed up.
A little unfortunate.
Not great there. But the guy to me that is more interesting for the future, because this is Keller's last year with the Royals. I don't see him coming back.
Unless for some reason he does poorly and he goes, guys, give me vet minimum and I'll stay.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. The guy I'm interested in is Bolin.
Yeah.
Bolin was going to make the major league roster at some point in time last year.
No.
If he didn't have Tommy John.
Yeah. Jonathan Mullen was on track to make the team and probably was going to be up at some point last year. But to end the year prior, kind of started to blow out his elbow. And late last year is when he was finally able to start building his way back.
So Bolin, I'll be interested to see how he performs now and into the minors, and maybe he ends up with a call up.
Same.
Only 3 walks in that game.
Mm-hmm.
If the Royals allow 3 walks per game, I will be thrilled. I will be absolutely thrilled. when you look at the Royals last year, and I'm looking at total numbers, all right? Total numbers. The Kansas City Royals, and as I do that, my internet just stopped working, had 589 walks.
Real bad.
All right. That's almost 4 a game.
Yeah.
We're in spring training, and they walked 3 a game in spring training.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I expect that number to be better in season.
And it most likely will be, as
because
you know,
spring training is...
Yeah, you're getting loose, you're stretching out.
Exactly.
Also, you're trying different stuff usually, too.
That's why I'm hoping Brad Keller got, roughed up, because he's trying that new slurve or whatever you want to call it. What do they call it?
He's working out a curve, and then he has added some sweep to his slider.
So what are we calling that?
I mean, it's still a slider. Just you could, if you wanted to not just use the word slider, since it's kind of become more of a horizontal one. The term is sweeper.
Okay,
so they are called sweepers.
Sweeper. So I'm assuming that's
that's probably
a big factor in that.
But he's just finding himself a little bit.
It would be terrific, and this is more so on the starting pitchers, because bullpen guys you should hardly ever walk people. Just throw the damn ball down the middle of the plate.
Yeah.
Especially if you're starting an inning. If you are starting an inning and you're a bullpen guy, let's say, Singer goes 6 innings, no runs because he shoved, right?
Yeah.
Whoever's coming out for the 7th, if you have a clean inning, there's zero reason why you should you should have a walk. Zero. You have the lead. Don't put runners on base. Make them earn it.
Yeah.
Whereas, let's say you go 6 1/3 inning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel Lynch was excellent, and there's a runner on first or runner at second. I'm a little bit more understanding, because you're doing everything you can to keep that runner from scoring.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you try to paint the edge, and that's big. But if you start an inning and you walk out, like Denny Matthews for forever, until I'm 6 feet in the ground. Late innings, leadoff walks. How many times those walks score
is a high number.
Has to be over 50%.
It's a very leadoff walks in
number.
General are a high number, but late inning leadoff walks, their propensity to score is ridiculous.
And that's why I'm hoping, those 3 walks that you have are innings 0 through 6, or 1 through 6.
Yeah.
But I liked what the Royals have done pitching staff wise. Just throw it over the middle of the plate. If they hit it 585 feet, they hit it 585 feet. I just, the only way you're going to improve as a franchise is if you stop walking batters. But I thought overall what you've seen is some success. Zach Greinke will go today. He will pitch a little bit, but seeing the guys like Barlow, Hernandez, Lovelady, and Coleman, all 4 of those guys could very well start in the pen.
They should, honestly.
Along with Stamont and then Aroldis Chapman. Now, apparently Aroldis Chapman fell down, bit his lip, chipped a tooth, and so he couldn't pitch because it's swelling in his lip.
That's really funny.
So,
man, that's funny.
He isn't a hockey player.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
If that was a hockey player, he would have pitched, because hockey players are tough. And it's spring training. I understand. No reason for him to pitch. His mouth, looks like it got destroyed. But how does his mouth affect his arm? I don't know. But it's spring training. If this were like a real game, I'd be like, dude, is your arm hurt? No. Okay. Go out there and pitch.
I mean, no, because then you cannot have his bum self actually ruining the game with his poor pitching.
Well, I'm assuming that's if he's good, obviously. But the fact that you got Barlow, Hernandez, Lovelady, and Coleman, those four guys I expect to be in the in the bullpen,
and guys that could be important pieces to the bullpen. So no, it's great to see, and the command's getting better. The whole thing with these guys just needing to their target being over the heart of the plate is pitchers don't hit their target all the time. More often than not, they miss their target. So when you set up over the heart of the plate, you're going to miss the heart of the plate. But by the fact you're aiming in the center of the zone, you're going to miss in the zone more often than not and not screw yourself over. That was the Royals' big problem all along was, they're aiming for the black, and that's really hard to do. So early in counts, just aim over the center and trust your movement. It works. It literally works.
And newsflash. You ain't Greg Maddux.
Yeah,
you ain't painting the black.
There's so few pitchers can have that command.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you Max Scherzer? No. Are you?
Stop it.
Are you
aim over
Corbin
the middle?
Burns?
Your stuff's going to move, and that's going to work.
Then stop trying.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about pace of play here?
Yeah, this has been a weird conversation this weekend.
Here are the game times for the 15 games in spring training Saturday. 2:15, 2:16, 2:21, 2:23, 2:26, 2:29, 2:30, 2:32, 2:33, 2:34, 2:35, 2:39, 2:47, 2:54, 3:03, and 2 games that lasted 3 hours and 6 minutes in spring training. The average length of a game last year was 3 hours and 7 minutes. So if you just go by that, every single spring training game this year was less than the average last year. The average.
It's good.
If you average out those lengths on Saturday, it gets you to a 2:44 game time, 2 hours and 44 minutes. That saves you 23 minutes off the average time. Okay. These are spring training games, which means there are more changes.
More changes.
Are more situations, takes a little bit more time, and it's worse baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've got guys that I didn't even know were on and in the Royals organization that are playing with guys like Salvador Perez. My guess is that the average time will drop a little bit from 2:44 and it will go to 2:40. I'm going to assume that that's what it's going to be, is 2:40. That means you're saving 27 minutes. And,
that's awesome.
And the people who are saying, well, we're not getting as much baseball.
Yeah, there's people complaining about this.
Well,
psychopaths.
That's factually wrong. Yeah. Because you're still getting 27 outs on each team. Well, some 24 outs depending upon the last inning. And so that's not. Here's my only thing. Here's my only question.
Yes.
And I think it'll be okay. But the first 7 innings, I think, will be terrific.
Yes.
I am wondering about the last 2 innings. Will there be enough time for the game to breathe? And the reason I say that is football, when the Chiefs are playing the Bengals or the Chiefs are playing the Eagles, right? You have a play that lasts an average of 6 seconds. Then you've got 40 seconds to understand the gravitas, to understand the magnitude. And you get Tony Romo going, here we go, Jim. And it gets, like the moment builds, it's kind of like when you're listening In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, and then you hear him, and then all of a sudden, then it's doo-doo, doo-doo, boo-doo, boo-boo.
Yeah.
9th inning, 1-run game, first pitch thrown, back on the mound, 15 seconds later, boom, second pitch thrown. Back on the mound, 15 seconds later, not even 15 seconds, it might be 10 seconds. Because it's 15 seconds when everything starts, you only get 15 seconds. So it's not sometimes 15 seconds. It'll be like 10 seconds. Boom. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm waiting for it, but is there enough time for the fan to go to get
so
giddy? You know what I'm saying?
I get to it. I've been looking into more and more and trying to understand some people's reluctance to the pitch clock more and more this spring training. Because every time I look at tweets from writers about times being shorter, there is a surprising large contingent of people like, this is horrible, this is terrible, because you're right. So the people that say, well, there's less baseball now. No, there is the exact to a T. Same. You are getting the exact same amount of baseball.
Yes.
What you are getting less of is the guy wandering around behind the mound for 20 seconds for no reason. And Lorenzo Cain's no longer getting to pull at his fingers every at bat.
Don't be. That's my favorite. One of my favorite roles.
Listen, man. I love Lorenzo. I'm just that's what stuck in my mind the most about this Lorenzo doing that.
And that's what people are going to bring up.
No. For you, I don't deal with Jose Altuve popping his batting helmet off every 5 seconds.
Correct.
Keep shifting it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, he's probably got like a microphone in there.
Yeah, no, he's got to get the wires all cleared out. Either way, so that's what you're losing. I get the idea that maybe we'll feel rushed near the end. That's where I think in a ballpark, I don't think so. Because I think in those close games, the energy will still build the way it does. And it'll just be a bit of a sped up process. In concept and in the context of.
But see, at the ballpark, though, I don't think any fan complains about length of game at the ballpark. To me, people complain about length of game when you're at home. Because when you're at the ballpark, you're at the ballpark, man.
Yeah. No, I agree.
If you complain about the length of time when you're at the ballpark, you're not at home.
Yeah.
You're at the ballpark, man.
So,
I love going to games.
And that's when I go to, when we go into the broadcasting of games, I mean, my view on it is simple. Guys calling the games, step up. That's your job. Find a way to impart the importance of the moment without the big pauses. Is that an easy thing to do? Hell no. We all around here call games. We know how difficult the job is. But find a way. Find a way to help build that moment. It just is more imparted on them.
And I don't know. Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to wait until the first full week of actual baseball.
We'll start and we'll see how we're feeling.
And we'll see how we're feeling. Because there might not be anything that an announcer can do. This is just after 1 week,
we'll see.
Maybe it'll be totally fine. And
it could be.
But that is the one innings 1 through 7. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's going to be awesome.
It's great.
And from what people are wondering about, because right now in Surprise and in spring training, the pitch clock is real close to home plate, and it's an eyesore. It really is. When I'm watching it, your eyes. We love a countdown. 15, 14, 13. People love countdowns. I look too much at the clock.
Yeah.
But according, I think, and I'll double check this, but Jeff Passan, I believe, said that the pitch clock will not be in view during the broadcast. And if that's that, I need that. I will say this. I can't have that pitch clock going 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. And then they throw it, because I'm going to be looking at, did he make the pitch? Did he make the pitch? I don't want that.
I'll say this here because I got to get to a break. Do you care about the play clock in football?
It's
the same thing.
No, it isn't.
It is the exact same thing.
No, it isn't. Not
it is
to
a
me,
play clock.
No.
You will get used to it.
I think because it is right there center, whereas the play clock in football, it's down along with the scoreboard. Now, if they want to include it in the little scorebug,
and it should be,
then it won't be. But did you not watch it? It's right behind. No,
the one Royals game that was on TV, I was in Kansas City.
No, but I'm saying it wasn't the Kansas City one. I'm just saying.
No, if I have not physically watched it in spring training.
Right smack dab in the middle of the screen.
Yeah,
that to me, it's too much. Yeah. I need you to move that. That would be helpful. Coming up next, we will get to a little Chiefs news. Much for joining us. Jake Levon, Fulton Caster with you. Let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Check us out on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Sports on 580. Very simple, very easy. Click the subscribe button. You can check us out on our website. Very, very easy as well. You go to our website, you can see the video. It's right there. You can leave us a comment in the YouTube section as well. Send us a tweet at Sports on 580. Today is National Strawberry Day. Love strawberries.
Technically not a fruit.
It's delicious. Now, are we going?
They've grown on me.
So we are going to go with best fruits.
Yes, just in general, best fruits.
So now, since you like to do all the technical BS, which is annoying, can I put strawberries on my list?
Yeah, so, yes, as much as I like to always make the comment that strawberries are not technically a fruit because their seeds are not encased by flesh, strawberries totally count because they're basically a fruit. That's fine. No, strawberries count.
Oh, so now we're okay to have the leeway.
No. See, here's the thing. I want to clarify here as you try to disparage my good name, the very little bit of goodness my name has left. I only get on you on technicalities when it comes to you usually just not telling me technicalities in the list. And then occasionally you go way too far out the bounds of a list.
I just Googled it.
Oh, no.
It says here, a strawberry is actually a multiple fruit.
I can see that.
So, there's no you can see it. It says fact.
I can see it.
So it is a fruit. It's a multiple fruit. Which is a fruit.
Yeah, I'll get you on the ticky-tack whenever you don't tell me the qualifiers of a list beforehand or when you clearly go way outside the bounds of an established list product. But I'm not going to get into the ticky-tack on you with what is and is not a fruit or a multiple fruit.
Yeah,
we're not going to get into that avenue. Yes, no. Things that are generally agreed upon to be fruits are allowed.
Royals baseball today. 2:05 first pitch. Zach Greinke towing the bump. The automatic strike for too long in the batter's box is BS. Now I don't. Is this
so? What I and Texter, if you would like to clarify, you may.
Yeah.
What I think that is referencing is batters must be alert with 8 seconds. Must be in the box and alert at the 8-second point on the pitch clock.
Yeah.
That is why I cannot remember who it was got called out for the Red. I think it was the Red Sox or Padres or whatever. The game that ended in the ninth inning.
Was the Braves?
Maybe. I could not tell you. Someone did get called out for not being alert in the batter's box and gave him a third strike and ended the game. Here's what I will say to that. That's a good rule. It should not move. Because just as much as pitchers need to get the ball back after throwing it, get on the mound and let's go, batters get in the dang box. You do not, if you want to step out for a couple seconds, shake the wrists out, get back in there. There is no reason.
Technically, you're not allowed to leave the batter's box anymore. Like that, and that was a rule
never been enforced, but
yeah.
But here's my thing. And I've already taken my shot at Lorenzo Cain. Still love you, Lorenzo. And took my shot at Jose Altuve. A lot of batters have done this for a long time. Is a pitch is done, and then they walk around, have to fiddle with 20. You don't need to do that. It's pitch is done. If you want to stand up, because I know some of the guys with their stances, you don't want to be crouched like they're throwing. If you want to stand up, loosen up for a second, and then get right back in there. If we're going to tell pitchers that they need to get the ball, get on the mound, and throw, pitchers, get your behind in the dang box.
Hitters.
Because hitters. Thank you. Because just like if I'm going to yell at Josh Staumont for wanting to, and Pedro Strop and Pedro Baez for wanting just to wander around the mound for forever and take 20 million deep breaths.
You got a bias for Pedro?
No, there's the two are in my head. Nothing against him. I'm going to complain about the exact same guys when hitters take too long to get in the box. Every part, those two key parts of the encounter there. Yeah. You don't need all that time. Take a quick second to reset, but then let's go. So if you're a hitter and you know you need to be alert with 8 seconds left and you're not, yes, you get a strike. And if that means you get struck out on that, sucks to suck.
Fulton.
And I will say,
Fulton.
if Bobby Witt Jr., that happens to him, I will look at Bobby and go, get your butt in the box faster.
Well, what is the definition of alert?
Your eyes are looking at the pitcher and you're in a batting stance.
I think you're giving. I think the whole 8 seconds is no. Batters, you're in the box. That pitcher could.
No, that's fair. No, that's fair.
3 seconds. This is about the pitcher. You better be ready to hit the damn thing. So the whole 8 seconds, man, that means you get a 7 second. That means the pitcher doesn't have to throw it, or he can't throw it until 8 seconds. Because if the batter's, let's say he's not.
It could delay the situation. Pitcher could be ready for, since the 12-second mark, and you're still screwing around.
Yeah.
No, true.
See,
no, I'm also good with the idea
at.
of just, no, once pitcher ready to fire, they fire. And if that means batter, you're not there and being an idiot, well, if my big thing, my last thing on it here is just the overall point is, if we're trying to speed those things up and eliminate dead time, that's what we're trying to do, is eliminate the time that you're just staring and nothing's happening, so we can increase the percentage of time that there's action in a baseball game.
Now,
every party needs to be on board here.
Now, can we also agree that this didn't need to happen? A pitch clock didn't have to happen if they just shortened the time between the innings.
Yes,
30 seconds.
As I have also often said, your bigger problem instead of pitch clock is the fact that inning breaks and pitcher change breaks are far too long.
They're 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
you don't need 2.5 minutes.
I've said it once. I've said it twice. I'll say it a third time. Manfred, just find a way to integrate the ad breaks, and you'll get what you want. You have sat there and said what you care about most is you want the game faster, so it's a more enjoyable product. Well, Robbie boy, your solution is integrate your ad breaks. If you find a way, get that picture-in-picture going, boom, we have solved your problem, Rob. I have solved it. You won't do that one, though, because that'll cost you a pretty penny.
And that's why you said the number one thing he cares about, non-making money side, is the time of the game.
But he cares, the one thing he cares about more than anything else, though, he wants to make his money.
That's why
I'm never serious when I bring this up, but it might become my new bit for Rob Manfred.
But it's also... that would solve.
Yes,
you
want a 9-inning game played in 2 hours and 20 minutes. You eliminate how long ad breaks are, and find you like rationally, if they really, really, really wanted to do that, you would hunt down the way to make it work.
You could final out to first pitch next inning could be done in under 2 minutes.
Yes, because that's how college baseball works. It is under 2 minutes.
Could be done in under 2 minutes.
As someone who has spent a lot of time in the past couple of years around college baseball, those I think if I timed it, and I might start timing it, I think it's like 1:20. Final out's on. Pitcher gets like 8 warm-up throws. Guys quickly get out there. Let's go. Let's go. Get on the hippity hop.
I don't even think, do the pros use all of their warm-up pitches in between innings?
As far as I know, they do.
But I mean, they get
part of the problem is,
we
take 2-minute ad breaks.
Yeah. No, 2.5 sometimes.
2.5, yeah.
Even
longer in the postseason.
Yeah.
And then our pitching changes take, 2.5 minutes. That's your real problem.
Mm-hmm.
But Rob won't fix that one, and he won't tell you that problem exists. He'll hide that one.
Well, it's because
I know it makes him money. I know. I get it.
I understand.
I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, I understand.
But I'm going to take my shots.
I do. It's just the same way why I don't think there should be 162 games in a baseball season. That is way too damn many. You ready?
I love baseball so much. I would not disagree with chopping off one of the months.
To me, you don't even need to just make it 150. You save, because those 12 games, that's 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Chop off 2 weeks. You're done at the middle of September. That means you're done with the first round of the postseason before October.
Yep,
easily.
No,
so
I agree.
You might even be playing your divisional series, because now you've got
got wild card, the divisional round.
You might even be done with the divisional series in by time. So
I love baseball to death, but I do think it probably could be helped with a reduction in season length.
But we know that ain't gonna happen.
No, Jake, that costs money.
You need them 81 home games.
Oh yeah, you do.
You do. We'll talk a little NFL here real quick. Some news occurring in the NFL. Jalen Ramsey looks like he might be traded, which makes me wonder who else the Rams are going to trade. Because if you're going to trade Jalen Ramsey, you might just have to go full rebuild. You don't want to go a half rebuild.
Yeah, the Rams are in such a weird spot because you would think they need to start shedding some contracts because they're not in a great spot financially.
No,
but then they also don't have picks. Like, I think the Rams just need to accept, hey, we're about to really have to blow some things up for a few years, which means Matt Stafford, you might have to end your entire football career on a real bad team, which probably should pay for your Super Bowl, but you got it.
Yeah, they definitely got it.
So, I mean, are you willing to pay that price?
I don't think Matt Stafford's contract's that terrible. I think he signed that contract a couple years ago. And so, yeah, his cap hit this year's only 20 million. Whereas next year it will be 49.
Yep.
Like, so this year's fine.
Yeah, he just signed that fresh new extension.
And so that one more of an issue.
Yeah.
But trading Jalen Ramsey, what else are they going to do? His cap hit is a big one this year and next year, 25 million for this year, 26 next year. So I wonder if the Rams are, and maybe they're going to say, hey, we're just going to get rid of one guy and see if we can't make it work, keep everybody else.
Because they're going to have Jalen Ramsey go. Bobby Wagner, they've agreed that he's going to go to try and save some money.
Yep. So I wonder if this is going to be a try to keep our Cooper Kupp, Stafford, Aaron Donald people together, and then hope we can find other people to improve. And that way we get rid of Jalen Ramsey. I don't know how many people can take that Jalen Ramsey contract.
Let's take a look at Jalen Ramsey's contract here.
Well, it's 25 million this year.
It's a $25 million cap hit this year. This is the last year you got to really pay him. Because next year's when his dead cap becomes much, much more manageable.
I mean, it's you're still eating 11.
Yeah, you are. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean, you're going to give up a draft pick for 2 years for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Unless you decide to go all. And I saw that Eric Eager, friend of the show, said maybe Jalen Ramsey's got some Charles Woodson in him, where he goes from corner and then plays safety when he's 31, 32, 33.
Yeah.
But that's one thing going on when it comes to the NFL right now.
Yeah.
But the other thing, and if the Bears don't do this, and Ryan Poles, I think, is smart enough to do this. I don't know, and unless you have that no questions asked about it, I trade the number 1 overall pick, and apparently that is what Chicago is leaning on doing.
Smart choice.
The Bears on the top pick in a year where anywhere from 8 to 12 teams could be looking to make a switch at quarterback. Multiple teams have been asking the Bears about their pick. If you can get 3 first rounders for that pick,
yeah,
I think you got to do it. Now, it's all in nuance. If Trevor Lawrence was the quarterback coming out this year, then you're trading Justin Fields and you're drafting Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, 6'5", laser rocket arm quarterback, right? Yeah. I would do that. I would trade Justin Fields and get what you can get. And you're rolling with Trevor Lawrence. I like Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young can be very, very good. Bryce Young is not a large man.
No, he's a little slight.
At least Russ was kind of thickly built. Bryce Young, I think talent-wise can be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Bryce Young is can't miss.
Fair.
And he's not like Kyler Murray where he runs a 4.3. All right. He's not like Jalen Hurts where Jalen Hurts was 6 foot, but
squats like 600 pounds.
Yeah, he's big.
Quarterback quadzilla.
So that's why I think, you know what? You drafted Fields. Now see if it works. But if you can get 3 picks, this year's first, maybe a team that's got 2 first-round picks, if that's a possibility, if you get a first-round pick. Because the Bears are not just Bryce Young away.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for Chicago for me, in that you have a quarterback that you, after last year, seem evident that you're willing to keep giving him some chances, that you're seeing the growth in some levels, and you might really be willing to try and make this work. If that's your belief, with all the other holes you have, stashing high-level draft capital is what you need to do to try and fill those holes as quickly as possible. So if you can trade the first overall pick, the 3 first-rounders, you could probably still get a star defensive lineman in the top 5. Because, like, let's say you trade with Indianapolis. You're going to get the 4th overall pick from the Colts. You'd ask for that. Will Anderson or Jalen Carter is going to be there at 4. Given the other people ahead of you, one of those 2 guys is going to be sitting there at 4. So you can get more capital, still get your star defender, and then you have more capital to keep trying to rebuild the defense, get Justin Fields some up along the offensive line, and try and get Justin Fields some up along the wide receiver room. So it is undoubtedly the smart move for Chicago to trade this pick. Like, that is the smart move. No questions asked. They need to be fielding offers. And there are teams that are going to give up a king's ransom for that pick and take either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, or we're going to get real wackadoodle and someone's taking Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. And if they do that, well, fire the GM.
Well, I have no problem. If you think Anthony Richardson is the next,
such a project,
if you think he's that guy,
yeah,
then draft him.
Then someone does, and they'll take a chance.
But that's what the Chiefs did with Mahomes. The Chiefs did that with Mahomes.
But Patrick Mahomes did not have one college season as a starter with a 54% completion percentage.
I'm just saying, like, people look at Mahomes as, you know, he has terrible footwork. He throws too many interceptions. He didn't win. He's street ball. Like,
yes.
If you just know that if you're Ryan Poles or if you're Houston or Arizona or Indy, that if you draft Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, that's your job. You are hindering your entire job on those guys. And that's fine. You just have to, like,
develop.
You better get it done.
Yeah, that's true.
Coming up next, we're going to name best fruits. It is National Strawberry Day today. The list. National Strawberry Day today. Our favorite fruits.
Number 4 for me on my favorite fruits, it's the grape. Grapes are fantastic.
Have you ever had frozen grapes?
I have not. This has been recommended to me several times. I haven't.
Put your grapes in the freezer and then try them.
Okay.
I like a frozen grape.
Okay.
Like
it's been recommended several times. I haven't tried it yet.
Like a frozen grape.
Yeah. Frozen grapes.
Number 4 for me, bananas.
Bananas are
I like
so
bananas.
wonderful.
I like-
Top tier fruit.
I like bananas.
Top tier.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me, the peach. Peaches, I don't think get enough respect as an overall fruit. They're best in a pie, but peaches are just overall fantastic. Also great in a cobbler.
Peaches are good only if they're like really ripe and good. If you get like an average peach, it's not good to me.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair.
It really hinders on how, like the Colorado peach.
Yeah.
At the right time.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm with you on that one.
That's fair.
Number 3 for me, I have to put it at 3, even though if you get this pineapple in a specific region, it is number 1.
Okay.
And it's the pineapple.
Okay.
I love pineapple.
Pineapple's fantastic.
Not on pizza, but I love pineapple. If you get pineapple and pineapple juice in Hawaii, there is nothing that comes close to it in the fruit category.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's the greatest fruit out there.
Yeah.
If it's a pineapple from Hawaii, there in Hawaii.
No, that's true. I'd agree with that. I agree with that.
Number 3, though, the pineapple.
Number 2 for me, the apple. Apples are good. They're very delicious. Great snack.
Apples, good, but I can't put them on my list. Number 2 is strawberries, man. You know how much strawberries I eat now that my kids love strawberries? They love strawberries. My daughter will just devour strawberries.
Just put strawberries away. No, strawberries are fantastic.
Destroys them.
Number 1 for me is very simple. It is the watermelon.
It's not even
watermelons
close.
are so good, man.
It is.
God, watermelons are so good.
And even bad watermelon is still good.
Even bad when even the bad thing is good, you got a top tier option.
Watermelon, fantastic. Lockstep there with you, Fulton. Coming up next, David Lesky joins us to talk all things Royals baseball. We will get to some more Chiefs discussion coming up in the 2:00 hour. A Chris Jones contract extension. What could that look like? He made some comments over the weekend at the 101 Awards in Kansas City. We got overreaction, proper reaction as well. But we're going to talk all things Royals baseball right now with David Lesky. Does a fantastic job covering the Royals. Check him out on the interwebs, and it's very simple. You can go to insidethecrown.substack.com or just Google Inside the Crown. He's been covering the Royals for a long time. David Lesky joins us. Dave, are you ready to talk undefeated Kansas City Royals baseball?
Well, I'm always ready. I don't think you need to say a long time. All right, come on. let's not make me feel old. All right, I've been for some years.
That means you were a prodigy. That means you're like a prodigy covering the Royals at an earlier age.
That's true. Yeah, I was 12 actually when I started doing it. So.
Exactly. We'll get to the pace of play and all that discussion in a second. But right now, through 3 games of minor league baseball. Minor league baseball, it's one of those things where if they're good, hey, that's awesome. If they're bad, it's just minor league baseball. You can really move the goalposts a lot in this situation. But I think it is different this year because of just the complete newness of everything, a new pitching staff, a new management, new leadership, new philosophies. So what can you take away from the first 3 games for this Royals franchise?
Yeah, it's tough because it's 27 innings, but also you're right. There's a lot of new. And so you look at things that they really have been preaching, throwing strikes, 6.8% walk rate. That's really good. It was 10 plus last year in spring training and in the regular season as well. So they're throwing strikes. I think that you can look at some defensive things that they've been doing, and it's hard to judge infield defense in Arizona because the ground, and it's not as bad right now, so maybe it's not the worst thing, but the dirt gets so hard because of the weather that it sometimes can cause some bad hops and make infielders look bad. But from all I've heard, the Royals infield defenses look really, really sharp. A couple misplays here and there, but like Nate Eaton playing second base, that's not his natural position. That's okay. He's getting him the time there, but Bobby Wicks looked really good. Pasquantino apparently looked very good in practice and in games. Very small sample, of course, but stuff like that they talked about, that they've said they're going to preach and they're going to really push this year. When those things go well, you take notice because it's something that they've made an effort to address. It's a small sample, so we'll see, but that's encouraging so far.
3 walks on Saturday, 3 walks on Sunday. How much can you take in spring training walks? Is that something like, I feel like in spring training, there's going to be more walks because you're tinkering and you got a lot of, new, I mean, there's some guys, them because you've covered the Royals since you were 12. I have not. And there are some guys on this team that I'm like, I feel like I'm on Major League at the beginning of the year. Who the hell are these guys? Like, I don't know who they are. So, they're going to walk some guys. I feel like this is a really good start, and seeing guys like Lovelady and Hernandez and Coleman and those type of guys. I know it's only one time, but I'm hoping I'm not getting overly excited about this situation.
No, I'm having a heart-to-heart with myself about getting too optimistic about the pitching staff with just throwing strikes. But I think there's a couple things. Walk rates and strikeout rates for both hitters and pitchers tend to stabilize pretty quickly. That's for individuals, and so we obviously aren't anywhere near the stabilization point. But every game gets closer, so it's something to keep an eye on. And I would imagine, I guess it doesn't. Whoever starts doesn't really matter at this point because they only go an inning or two. But Zach Greinke on the mound today, probably not going to hurt the walk rate. Although who knows? It's Zach Greinke. He might say, I'm going to try throwing every pitch a foot outside to see what happens, and then he walks 12 guys, and maybe that just ruins everything. But I think that there is, I don't know how much, but something that you can take away from even a small sample on strikeouts and walks, because it shows you're throwing strikes. I mean, you can go through a game and say, wow, they threw strikes better than they have all year or in the last month or whatever. And we saw some of those games last season. I feel like we didn't see a lot of them back to back to back, like we've seen over the first 3 days of spring training. So, yeah, again, it's not time to get out the, to plan the parade route again. I guess I don't need to really plan it anymore. It's pretty much just defined here in Kansas City now. But it's a reason to be hopeful and something to keep an eye on for the rest of spring training. And it's one of those things too. If it's this time next week and they've played, I don't know if they have any split squads between now and then, but let's say they played 10 games and their walk rate is still 7%. You go, okay, well, this is becoming real. This is becoming a thing, and it doesn't take that long for it to actually be meaningful.
I also just the starters' walk rate to me isn't as important as the relievers' walk rate.
Yeah.
I don't care if the starter walks the guy here or there. That's going to happen probably. Not everybody, is prime Greg Maddux.
Right.
But I just don't want leadoff walks in the 7th, 8th, or 9th. I don't want, relievers should never walk a guy. Just pump it down the middle of the plate. I don't care. Just find a way to get the out. That to me is more important when I look at spring training and the guys who are giving up the walks.
Absolutely. And you say pump it down the middle of the plate. I don't know if you were giving me a segue or not, but that's exactly what the Royals are doing. I mean, that's the whole plan. And it goes back, it was probably been a week and a half now. Baseball America put out an article about how the Rays fix pitchers into becoming strike throwers. And it's really simple. I mean, there's some mechanical things. They're very smart, but it's really simple. The catcher's set up down the middle. That's it. That's it. That's what they do. And it's because, and Matt Quatraro was on the broadcast on Saturday on the TV broadcast, and I thought he said something really interesting about how the average miss by a pitcher on the missing the target is 7 to 12 inches. Okay, well, the plate is 17 inches wide. If you set up down the middle, you've got 8.5 inches either way. It generally, I can't remember I read this. It's like 20 inches tall for the average hitter. Set up down the middle, you got 10 inches either way. So if you throw down the middle and you miss by 7 to 12 inches, more often than not, you're going to throw a strike. and if you're setting up on the edge and you miss by 7 to 12 inches, you're either going to be way off the plate or right down the middle. And so this whole idea of set up on, aim for the edge is one of those things the Rays have said, no, that's stupid. No, that doesn't work. And it's hard to argue with what the Rays have done, especially turning middling relievers into great relievers, not middle relievers, middling relievers into great relievers. They've done it with some starters. Tyler Glasnow was mentioned in that article. He came over from the Pirates, couldn't throw strikes, and immediately walked like one guy in 7 innings in his first start. Like very, very basic things lead to strikes. And the Royals now have the Rays' old bench coach and the Rays' old catching coach. And he's now, well, I don't know if he's the Rays catching coach, but he is the Royals catching coach now. And they've brought that philosophy to Kansas City. I think we're going to see strikes. I just think it's a very simple thing that I don't know how it wasn't fixed previously.
We are joined by David Lesky right now. Does the great work with the Inside the Crown newsletter. Just Google it. You'll find it on Substack. It's great, fantastic content. I recommend subscribing to it to get just some great Royals content throughout the year. You can also follow Dave on Twitter at DBLesky. Dave, I know we have spent so much on the pitching here, and that's going to be the focus on so much of the Royals' development this season because that is the number one thing that I think could be the big indicator of how much better they could start performing. But when you look at the hitting side, hitting down in Arizona always seems to be up. It's a little bit of weather. It's a little bit of the environment you're in. So I know it's hard to always take away a lot of big results when it comes to the hitting, but is there anything you've seen out of some of the lesser-known guys? We know Bobby Witt Jr. is going to hit. We know Vinny Pasquantino is going to hit, but Hunter Dozier's got his home run out of the way. Nick Lofton hit a great home run the other day, which I was very happy to see. Franmil Reyes sent a ball all the way to, getting near the south of the border the other day. Is there anything you've seen out of the hitting here early that you would be pleasantly surprised at with who has started to at least start off spring training on the right foot?
Yeah, offensive guys are hard to pinpoint just because you only get a couple of bats in these first few games. Kyle Isbell, from what I understand, the one game that we got to see on TV, he didn't play, but from what I've heard, his swing looks really good. And he went to Driveline this offseason to work on fixing his swing a little bit. So that's someone who is really interesting to me. Michael Garcia keeps getting rave reviews from the organization. He's an interesting guy. Matt Quatraro was not shy about saying, hey, he could win this job. I mean, it's probably Hunter Dozier's job to lose at third base, but Michael Garcia could be the third baseman on opening day. It is not impossible. I wouldn't bet on it, but it could happen. So he's been really interesting. And I think Freddie Fermin is a guy who I've heard quite a bit of really good reports on him in the cages, at least. I think he only played one game. It was yesterday, but he's a guy who he kind of came forward last year offensively. Really in the second half, had a really good last couple months of the season. Played phenomenally down in winter ball. He was the MVP down there. I can't remember if he was Venezuela or Dominican. Either way, he was in one of the Latin American winter leagues, and he played really, really well down there. People are talking about him. The Royals have an interesting roster because right now their backup catcher is MJ Melendez, who is their starting left fielder. So I could see a scenario that there's kind of a couple hinge roster spots that I could see going to a few different guys, and Fermin is one of them. So I'm curious to see how he hits this spring. He's also going to have a lot of opportunities because Melendez is going to the World Baseball Classic. Salvi's going to the World Baseball Classic. Freddie Fermin's going to be the starting catcher in a lot of spring training games. He's going to play 4, 5, 6 innings while the other two are gone. So he's got a real shot to prove himself, and I've heard a lot of really good things about him.
I'm glad you bring up the World Baseball Classic, Dave, because I know that's going to be starting here sooner rather than later. And there's a lot of Royals players that are going to be going to that. Bobby Witt Jr., Brady Singer with Team USA, Vinny Pasquantino and Nicky Lopez with Team Italy, plenty of players in Venezuela and Dominican and all these different areas. When you look at all those guys that are going to be going, what kind of, and maybe it is Freddie Fermin as we bring him up here, what young guy do you think, or young guys do you think stand to benefit the most from the increased playing time that they're going to get when some of these Royals regulars go off and play the World Baseball Classic here in a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think the two guys that come to mind, Nick Pratto and Michael Massey, and other than Freddie Fermin, because Michael Massey's in a battle with Nicky Lopez to play second base, and Nicky Lopez isn't going to be there. So we're going to see a lot of Michael Massey. And we saw him for 100-something plate appearances last season when he came up, first in the Toronto series and then August after the deadline. But he has a chance to really solidify his spot as a starting second baseman. And then Nick Pratto, I don't know. I'm not really sure if there's a path to a roster spot on opening day, at least for him. Doesn't mean there can't be, but he had a tough go at the big league level last season. I mean, he got sent down toward the end of the year, which I thought was a weird decision, but also I sort of understood it in some ways. So he has a really big opportunity to wow his coaching staff. And I always talk about in spring training, you know, we put so much emphasis on the opening day roster. It's one day out of, 188 or something like that in the regular season. I mean, it's one day. It really is not that much. And so spring training is an opportunity to impress the coaching staff for later. And this coaching staff doesn't know Nick Pratto. I mean, they saw him. They saw highlights. I think they played the Rays after the deadline. Yeah, they did. They were right after the deadline. It was that first series. So, like, they saw him play, but they didn't see him intimately. Like, you know, he wasn't part of their team. So he has a chance to say, hey, I know I'm not going to be on the opening day roster, but as soon as you need somebody, I'm the guy you're going to call. And that's where it's really big for Nick Pratto, I think. And then a couple other guys, it's not World Baseball Classic, but Nate Eaton, because of Drew Waters' injury. I think he had an inside pass to the roster already. But now he has a chance to become a starter, I think. You know, they were looking at Isbell and Waters in center and right, and now who plays right? I don't know. And that's a spot for Pratto too, potentially, if he wants to make the opening day roster. I don't think the Royals are going to do that. But those are the guys to me that I think have a real chance to step up and really help themselves, not necessarily just for opening day, but for the whole season.
Talking with David Lesky of Inside the Crown. All right, let's get to pace of play. The very first weekend of games in the books. They averaged on Saturday 2 hours 44 minutes, which is 23 minutes faster. What did you think? Good, bad, don't like it, waiting till the actual games? Your initial thoughts?
I didn't notice it. And that's a good thing. I mean that in a good way. I didn't notice anybody rushing. I didn't notice any weird situations. I mean, there were a couple, the Royals had one on, was it Friday, I think? They started the at-bat with a ball because the pitcher wasn't ready. I think that was right. I think it was Vinny Pasquantino batting. But we saw the thing that happened in the Braves and Red Sox game where the game ended on a strikeout, even though it was a ball. You know, there's some kinks to work out, but I really didn't notice any difference in the game except for that I looked up and it was, 4:37 and the game was over. And I was like, oh, I guess that's it. I guess we're done here. So I think it's great. I really do. I think it's going to help the game quite a bit. I'm not somebody who said that we want fewer minutes of baseball. I mean, I want more baseball. But the reality is what we were watching, it wasn't more baseball that was being played. It was more downtime in between baseball being played. So I think it's been really solid. There's some adjustments that people need to make. There are going to be issues. We saw the numbers in the minors. There were like 2 infractions a game for the first month, and then it was down like under 1 by the end of the season. So I think that's it'll work itself out. We'll get used to it. It'll eventually be one of those things that you go, baseball didn't used to have a pitch clock. Wow, that's crazy. And I can say, yeah, back when I was covering the Royals at 22, they fixed that. But no, it's I liked it. I think it's been really good. I haven't really noticed anything with the bases or the shift yet. Maybe it's because I haven't been able to watch because they're not on television all the time. But that I'm really curious to see about how stolen bases pick up, infield hits because they have a little bit less distance to go from home plate, all that stuff. But pace of play wise, I think it's been great.
All righty, my last two questions, two for the road. The first one is going to be, what pitcher, if he is just takes the next step, what pitcher is the biggest difference maker for this team this year?
So this is a really interesting answer that I would not have given you 2 days ago, but I wrote this today. Brad Keller. A scout told me, who was there at the game, told me that the sweeper will save his career. I thought that was a little bit extra after an inning and 2/3, but also his slider went downhill the last couple of seasons, and if the new slider, which is a sweeper, if that can get some swings and misses along with his new curve and along with aiming to the middle of the plate instead of the corners, I think Brad Keller could have a really big season. We're not that far removed from him being really good for 3 full seasons, and I think he could be a difference maker. I would have said Daniel Lynch on Friday if you had asked me then, but after hearing what I heard yesterday about Brad Keller, I'm really intrigued to see what he can do moving forward.
Buying into that Brad Keller Kool-Aid, I see. All righty, okay.
You know it.
And lastly, who hits the most home runs this year? Is it going to be Bobby, Sal, MJ, or Fulton's boy, Franmil Reyes?
Yeah, God, that's a great question because I think it's going to be Bobby Witt because I think he's going to have a big year. But I would say I don't know what the odds would be on Franmil Reyes finishing second. I don't think there's who finishes second on the Royals in home runs on the board. But if there was, I think that would be a really, really good value bet. Honestly, it's probably a really good value bet for who finishes first on the team in home runs if they had that somewhere. I still think it's going to be Witt, but I mean, I would not be surprised if we look up in whatever, October 1st, I think the season ends, and Franmil Reyes has 32, 33 home runs.
Dave, as always, we appreciate the time, my friend. Enjoy Royals baseball today, and we'll see if Zach Greinke will throw a pitch under 60 miles an hour. Should be fun.
Let's hope they're all under 60.
David Lesky, Inside the Crown, does a terrific job. Follow him on Twitter as well, DB Lesky. I love Dave because he tweets out the lineup every single time, and that's when I know the lineup. So I appreciate that. Fair. Dave. Coming up, we'll talk a little Chiefs and contract for Chris Jones. Final hour of Mic'd Up on this Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake Levon, Fulton Caster with you. We've got the overreaction, proper reaction. Plus, we'll talk a little Big 12 hoops. KU, K-State both with wins over the weekend on Saturday. KU does not play until Tuesday. K-State plays on Wednesday. We're going to be giving away our final pair of K-State men's basketball tickets tomorrow.
You go to senior night. See Keontae Johnson give a speech.
Are they going to do speeches?
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know because of Tang's, and Marquise Noel.
I thought Marquise is a junior.
Wait. I thought he was
a junior.
Now,
which one of us is right?
that's a great question.
Because I thought he transferred as a sophomore after 1 year at Arc Little Rock.
I thought he transferred in as a junior.
I did know.
We should know this.
We should. We don't.
He's a senior. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I thought.
Never mind.
Man, you were making me question.
Making myself question a lot of things.
I wish I could throw something at you right now.
Why?
Because you made me question it. No, he's a senior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me for making you confirm a fact.
Well, you made me. You made me question it.
So you make me question a lot of things constantly.
Desi Sill's also a senior.
Yeah.
A few others.
Yeah, no, we're gonna get the first senior in a drum tank. See what he does.
Yeah. What do you think he's gonna do?
Say he loves the guys. Make it all about them.
Yeah,
Have some sort of celebration at the end.
Either way.
Well, the way Jerome has led this team this far, I'd be surprised if it's anything less than giving them at least some recognition and just a nice moment.
Yeah.
Because Jerome loves his players.
We will get to a little Big 12 hoops coming up here in just a little bit. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Check us out on YouTube. Go to Sports on 580 on YouTube. Click the subscribe button. Click the like button as well. Very simple, very easy. But we're going to talk some Chiefs and few notes about the Kansas City Chiefs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, according to Nate Taylor of The Athletic, they are not going to pick up his fifth-year option. For those of you who don't know, fifth-year options work if you are a first-round draft pick. Anybody other than a first-round draft pick does not get a fifth-year option. You just have 4 years, and then you are a free agent. If you are drafted, 4 years free agent, second through seventh round. First-round picks get that fifth year if the team chooses to do so before the start of their last year. So the Chiefs would have to make the decision on Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now. And you say, yes, we're going to pick it up. Then he's on the team after this year, his fifth year. Well, you're not going to do that. One, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not your starting running back as of right now. That's Isaiah Pacheco. So I look at this as pretty much standard operating procedure if you are the Kansas City Chiefs. I would have Clyde on this team this coming year because he's cheap.
Yeah.
He's under contract. I would try to bring back Jerick McKinnon if you think he's got one more year under the hood. And then you've got your three running backs. That's your three running backs. And then bring back somebody like a Terrence Gore that can play on the practice squad. And if you need him, bump him up there, right? We don't need
You mean a Derek Gore?
What did I say? Terrence Gore?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Terrence Gore is playing football.
I mean, he could be a good, punt returner, kick returner.
Little scat back.
Yep. But those are your 3 running backs next year. If they think that Jerick McKinnon has another year left, which you'd think, as he caught 18 touchdowns this year out of the backfield, it seemed like. So that's something news there for the Chiefs and their roster. Now, Chris Jones has said that he wants to stay in Kansas City. That is what he told reporters at the 101 Awards in Kansas City. Wore a nice little suit, looked very dapper.
Man, imagine getting a suit for a dude who's 6'6", 310.
That's a big suit.
That's a lot of fabric.
It's a big suit. And he says he wants to stay a Chief. He says, I'd love to stay a Chief rest of my career. I wanted to look at that. So there's only one other person who's in the category of Chris Jones in terms of how good he is.
Yeah.
And the age range. That's Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, I think, will go down as arguably a top end defensive player in NFL history.
Yeah.
That's how good I think he has been. Chris Jones is not on that level, but this last year he played that level. He was that good. The Chiefs do not win the Super Bowl if Chris Jones is not on this team. I can firmly believe that. How many players can you say that on the Kansas City Chiefs?
Not many.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Travis Kelce. I'm going to say Chris Jones. And I think, honestly, that's it. I think if you take off any other person on that team, I think they still win the Super Bowl. Like, did you have to have Frank Clark?
No.
I don't think so. Did you have to have Creed Humphrey?
No.
You know, Joe Tooney, Trey Smith, Justin Reed, Trent McDuffie, LeJerry Sneed. What game did Sneed go down? 5th play of the game.
Against the Bengals. It's a championship game.
That was the Bengals?
Yep.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Yep.
It was either,
Yep. Yep.
Did you need LeJerry Sneed to win a Super Bowl?
Apparently, you didn't need her to at least make one.
So that's my point there is, if you take off Travis Kelce, the Chiefs do not win the Super Bowl.
No.
I firmly believe that.
No.
You take out Chris Jones, they do not win the Super Bowl. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So that's why I do not trade Chris Jones. I can understand the thought process of it if that's the route you want to go. Do I think Chris Jones has 3 more good years of football left in him? I do. I think Chris Jones has 3 more good years of football left in him. Chris Jones this upcoming year has the highest cap hit of any defensive player. His cap hit is $28.2 million. That is higher than Aaron Donald's at $26 million. I guess that's the highest defensive tackle. I don't think anybody has a higher defensive cap hit than Chris Jones. I would be wrong. Leonard Williams at $32 million.
Oh boy.
Joey Bosa at $31 million.
Oh boy.
How about that? So he's got the highest defensive tackle cap hit,
yes,
to make that clear. Myles Garrett, $29 million. So to me, I find a way to make it work with Chris Jones. He's going to be 29 years old this coming year. At some point in time, you have to say, this guy is so good, we can't replace him. Can you replace Trent McDuffie? Well, they did for half the year. Can you replace Nick Bolton? Yes, you can. I don't think you can just replace Chris Jones. And for two reasons. One, well, Jake, what if you trade him and then you, get free up some cap space, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't like the wide receiver spot where you can get three guys that will generate what one guy did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can do that. And in the draft, to find impact dominant guys where the Chiefs want to draft is not normal.
Yeah.
Can it happen? Yes, because TJ Watt was taken late. JJ Watt was taken late. Apparently, you got to be a Watt if you want to be taken late. But
Apparently.
We have seen in the past that it's either top 10 or above. Now, are you going to get a top 15 pick?
Would be hard.
I don't think you're going to, because then they're going to have to pay Chris Jones.
Yeah.
But to me, the whole point of drafting all these guys is to find difference makers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you choose who you are going to pay as a difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if the Chiefs had to make a decision, you have to extend Chris Jones or extend Orlando Brown, because both of them are going to be paid at the top of their positions.
Mm-hmm.
This is the easiest damn decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
It is Chris Jones, and I don't have to think twice about it. I really, really don't. You can replace Orlando Brown, and we've talked about that, whereas can I get 80% of Orlando Brown? I think I can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can find 80% of Chris Jones right now for the Kansas City Chiefs. So you got to find a way to make it work. It's not like he's 32. If he were Travis Kelce, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe this is something that might not work out.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to be 29 years old next year. 29, 30, 31. So give him a 3-year extension on this year. Right now, his cap hit is $28 million.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do what if you have to do what they did with Aaron Donald, so be it, because they threw on, they didn't throw in any funny money years for Aaron Donald. His out is very, very simple. Like, he is virtually uncuttable for the next 2 years.
Mm.
His dead cap is $44 million this year. Next year it's $20 million. Okay. You're probably, if you, the only way that Aaron Donald is not, if he isn't on the Rams, it's you traded because you're just full rebuild mode.
Mm.
Do what you did there. Or if you want to, throw a couple other years, make it a 4-year extension and dummy it down so you've got like $8 million in dead cap, kind of like the Frank Clark situation.
Yeah.
But you got to keep Chris Jones. I don't see how there is any way that you think that this defense, without a guy who is an absolute nightmare matchup. The Bengals literally guarded him with 2 dudes every play when they had their healthy offensive line. I think, and I'm with you, I think this Chiefs defense, I don't remember when you said it, but this
was near when the season ended.
This Chiefs defense has a chance to be very, very good.
And here's my thing on Chris Jones, because there are people in different circles with different opinions, and I know I'm not going to say it's a large section, but there's a portion of the Chiefs kingdom where they believe in, just trade Jones, get some picks, you'll be fine. That's the way we can do it. Here's the thing. The Chiefs need a superstar on defense, because offensively, you can get away with hodgepodging things together because you got the greatest quarterback in the league. That guy can make it work. Like, that's why you could trade Tyreek Hill, because 15 makes up for it. You don't have that defensively because Chris Jones is that defensively. Chris Jones is your 15 on that side. Is it a perfect 1-to-1? Hell no. But is it essentially the same concept? Yes. So Jones is the guy you got to keep while he's playing at this level, which means he's going to cost you money. Like, I would project it'll be a roughly 4-year, $100+ million extension.
And numbers wise, here's what Aaron Donald signed.
Because Aaron's was 3 for 95.
3 years, $95 million, including $25 million signing bonus and 95. All of it was guaranteed. He got a fully guaranteed contract, and his cap hits went 27, 26, 34, and then it's 2 void years after that.
Yeah, which is how they was able to massage some things.
So I would, if that's what you have to do with Chris Jones, I think
it's what you do, because
I think that's what happens.
Much like Patrick Mahomes elevates the offense, Chris Jones elevates the defense. You got to keep him. Like other parts, yes, we can have conversations about guys that could be traded or navigated or replaced. We can't. Chris Jones, with the way he played last year and what he has shown he can be, you got to keep him for a couple more years. I think it is foolish to get rid of him on the idea of, well, let's just get more picks and more cap space.
Yeah.
You're already at a fine spot for those.
See,
the key to your defense is you need 95 in the middle.
At least you would consider, to me, what can we get for Orlando Brown?
Yeah.
What is there something else that we can make it work?
Yeah.
You don't just go replacing Chris Jones. That's who you build around. If he were 32 and 33, 34, 35.
We could then have conversations.
I wouldn't. I would say, Chris, thank you for your time and effort. But he's still 29, 30, 31. That's 3 years that I still think he can play. Find a way to make it work. Lower the cap hit of $28 million this year. Even if you can lower it down to 20, because $8 million this year that's Carlos Dunlap. That's somebody else that you can bring in. That's an MVS. That's somebody of that nature that you can bring in. If you can just save $8 million, and then to me, if you got to eat the money in 2025 or 6 of $8 or $9 million, then you do so. Yeah. I think that is something that you deal with. I don't think you want to have him play on a 20. If you're thinking, oh, well, you could just franchise tag him next year, and then you got him at 30. And then you could franchise tag him again, and then you got him at 31, and then you don't have any funny money at the end of the deal, right? Because that is the one benefit. The saying is, I've never seen a bad 1-year deal in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because there's no other, that's why the franchise tag, hey, we know what we're going to pay you. You're going to make $20 million if you are Orlando Brown. But if you pay Orlando Brown $80 million guaranteed, and all of a sudden he got his money and he turned into Dwayne Bowe and didn't care. I'm not saying that, but then you're stuck. Just like the Cardinals are right now with Kyler Murray. Just like anybody who you pay a big contract to, you're stuck. I would try to lower the cap hit this year, $20 million, lower it $8 million, put 3 more years on there, give him $80 million guaranteed, 3 years, $80 million fully guaranteed. Chris Jones has already made, what has he made here in his career? Let's take a peek here. Because he signed an $80 million deal already.
Yeah, that's the current contract he's on.
So you add in another $80 million, he'll have made close to $150 million in his career.
Yeah, he's currently at $67 million haven't been made.
Yeah, and then this coming year, he'll add in more money to that, and so that's why I make it work. And you've got it right there.
When you have
3 for 80, you're not quite Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
3 for 80, all guaranteed.
When you have a top 2 player at their position, there are very rare circumstances where you get rid of them. And I don't know if I would call Tyreek top 2, but he was definitely up there in that special echelon. But there was a very special circumstance around that, which circles back to you had the greatest quarterback in the league. So it lets you be a little bit more of a risk taker on that side of the ball.
Yep.
You don't have that defensively. So when you got top 2 there, You keep him.
I thought this was interesting. On Football Morning in America, Peter King talks about the new Netflix show that is going to involve Marcus Mariota, Kirk Cousins, and Patrick Mahomes. They've got some little snippets here. The reason that they went with these three quarterbacks is they're at three different stages of their career. Marcus Mariota, Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes. And that's what one of the directors had to say about Mariota's career, and then also for Kirk Cousins' career. But what's interesting is, according to Peter King, Patrick Mahomes almost didn't get to do this because of Andy Reid. Andy Reid is the key to everything. If you want to do something with the Chiefs, you better get Big Red's approval or it's not going to happen. Right? What the Chiefs do at anything has to go. Andy Reid has to bypass it. You know, what are they going to do for training camp? Are they going to go overseas? What are they going to do here? What are they going to do? He has to get the approval. And this is what Peter King had to say. He said, at first, Andy Reid had to be convinced. A phone call from Peyton Manning was involved because his Omaha Productions crew is a part of this. And it sounds like Reid gave his blessing when he found out Mahomes really wanted to do it and that NFL film cameras wouldn't be around the facility a la Hard Knocks. So just be around Patrick Mahomes personally. I mean, it's the same thing that the F1 did and what, you know, golf has gone through with their full swing.
It's a very fun watch. I recommend it.
The Rory episode was better than a couple of them, but overall, it was okay.
We can finish up this little moment. I have a very specific thought on that and why I think you feel that way.
Okay.
After what I've experienced, but we can get to that in a minute.
But what it said here was Crossrow relates some of the details about Mahomes' episode of Quarterback, including some of footage from his home after he was injured in the Jacksonville playoff game, along with how he devotes daily practice time to make off-platform throws. I'm so excited.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm so excited. Then he says here, basically, you're going to learn how Patrick Mahomes is like an owl, end quote. Not only is Patrick Mahomes throwing off tempo, throwing off center, can do the whoop, can do all of that. No look passes, throw it left-handed. He also heals faster than everybody. Now you're telling me he's one of these rare creatures that doesn't need sleep? Literally, he's the perfect individual to play quarterback.
Mahomes is awesome. I'm excited.
You learned how Patrick Mahomes is like an owl. I don't know if I can be more excited about this episode.
This series is going to be very fun, and I'm very excited for it.
It's coming in the summer, right?
Yep. Summer of this year. So when we're missing football, we need the fix in the veins. Netflix has got us.
We need this in like June.
Yeah. That's the perfect month for this to drop.
It in June. Basically, you're going to learn how Patrick Mahomes is like an owl.
Hope everybody's ready for Jake and I's daily shows that are just going to be breakdowns of Patrick Mahomes' episodes.
Yes, that's happening. Like when this comes out, I'm not going to watch it in the order it goes, like episode 1, 2, 3. Like if it goes Mariota, Cousins, Mahomes.
You're fast forwarding to Mahomes.
I'm going straight to episode 3.
That's fair.
That's happening.
That's fair.
So I'm excited about that for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
One, you're gonna see him. Afterwards, going through injury rehab, all that kind of stuff.
Very fascinating, especially with how that rehab allegedly went. I'm very excited for that.
Very excited. Alrighty, the full swing.
Yes. So I have a thought on.
All right, why?
This is my thought because I'm about halfway through. I watched majority of them over this weekend, and my buddy came into town. That kind of threw off my timing. I believe the last thing I watched was the Joel Damon episode, which was really a great episode. But I've learned, I think I know what it is because I've heard some of Dan's thoughts. It is geared towards non-golf fans.
Correct. Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. Like, I know less about golf than you two. I think I've learned I've enjoyed it more than both of you two. I think Dan's enjoyed it a little bit more than you because you follow it more than Dan does. This is a series designed around non-golfers. I think that's part of why you don't like it as much. No, I agree. It's not designed for you. Because like me, I'm loving every minute. Like I know you said the first episode was a little slow. I enjoyed every minute about Justin Thomas and Jordan because I didn't know any of that. That was all new to me.
You didn't know they were best friends growing up?
No, I didn't know a single inch of that. So that was fascinating to me. Whereas you already knew all that. Yeah. There's nothing new to that for you. So you're just like, it's nothing new.
Like the Joel Damon.
That was great. That was a lot of fun.
I knew all about his mom.
I didn't know that.
I knew about
great to learn
his I mean, that's why he also has, cancer with the X.
Yeah, I had no idea about all that.
And that's just who he is. Like I don't. And so that was fun because you got to see it more firsthand.
Yes.
But I mean, I still knew all that information. The Rory one was different because you got to see some of the behind the scenes stuff.
I'm excited to get to that
about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that he lost the Open.
Yeah.
Cam Smith won, but some of the stuff around it and I thought that was good. Like his relationship with Tiger, pretty cool.
That's just my new working theory, having watched a bunch of episodes of it now. The less of a golf fan you are, the more you're going to enjoy this.
Yeah, I believe that.
The more of a golf fan you are, the less you will enjoy it. Because majority of the things they're focusing on is the non-golfer to learn more about it. That's my new theory that I think perfectly encapsulates it. Entirely off of just judging you, Dan, and myself's enjoyment and how it's scaled in reverse of our golf knowledge.
From the Big O Tires text line, this is a good point. 3 phases of the quarterback: washed, overpaid, best in the league.
Facts.
That's
poor Marcus. God, I loved Marcus Mariota at Oregon.
Man, he was so much fun.
I wish he had a better career.
He really, really was. Coming up, we are going to get to overreaction, proper reaction here on Mic'd Up. overreaction or proper reaction, but Andy Rogers, who covers the Royals from MLB, just tweeted this out. Looks like Zach Greinke is using PitchCom fitted to his belt to signal pitches from the mound rather than catcher MJ Melendez calling them. For those of you who don't know, PitchCom was a thing last year in which the catcher would push a couple buttons and it would tell the pitcher what pitch to throw. So you wouldn't have to deal about 1, 2, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now this year, you can have that same
system
video game device, which is what it looks like. And the pitcher can have it, and then it will tell the catcher, hey, don't even bother. You
can call your own game.
Yeah. It's like when you drive up to a drive-through, right? You drive up. And then they say, hi, would you like to try the new Baconator combo? And you're like, no, I'm going to tell you what I want, okay?
Interesting comparison, but yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is. What they're doing is MJ Melendez is like, hey, Zach, do you want a cheeseburger? And Zach's like, no, I want nuggets, dumb. The idiot. Well, now, this is exactly what it is. He gets to tell him right away, I want a cheeseburger with no tomatoes, add onions and fries and a shamrock shake, which I had one of those these weekends. Man, those are good. Those are real good. Anyways, Zach Greinke's going to do it now. Max Scherzer had it earlier this weekend.
Now, I would imagine the more veteran established pitchers are going to flock to just being able to call their own game.
And it makes it easier. It makes it quicker. It's going to go faster.
Yeah. Zach's going to know exactly wants to throw it at any given moment.
Yeah.
No more arguing with catchers about, what do you want to throw?
If I'm going to throw this 60-mile-an-hour curveball, you're going to like it. I can't wait.
And with the pitch clock, that actually will make things better to speed up. It's just, there's no agreement or disagreement. It's just, nope, I'm throwing this. We're going. Let's go. That's wonderful.
Zach got to throw a 6-inning, 1-run game in 50 minutes. Zach, you pitched today for 50 minutes. Yep, I'm done. 6 innings. We're good.
Good.
My 39-year-old arm doesn't need that. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. 6 innings. It might not even be 50. Yeah, it'll be 50 minutes might be maybe an hour. We'll give another 10 minutes.
Okay.
I can't wait. Overreaction, proper reaction. All right. Overreaction, proper reaction. Marquise Noel, player of the year in the Big 12.
Overreaction. It's Jalen Wilson's award. And I get what Marquise has done, and what he has done is great. And I get he's leading the Big 12 in a bunch of these statistical categories. It seems like lately it's been a foregone conclusion it's Jalen's award. And everyone can have their own personal opinions on that. I think either man is very deserving of the award. I think it's going to go to Jalen.
At first, I thought no.
He has a case. I completely agree.
And now
he has a case.
He definitely has a case.
100%.
To the point now where I think there are 3 unanimous first-team all-conference guys in Jalen Wilson, Keontae Johnson, and Marquise Noel. Because the more you look at it, if you lead the league in scoring, you lead the league in free throw percentage, you lead the league in steals, you lead the league in assists. Probably should have went with assists, steals, then free throw percentage there.
Yeah.
And you play the most minutes.
Yeah.
You have a no questions asked situation for player of the year in this. I think, and I've always done it like this, to me, a lot of this goes to Victor Go, the spoils.
Yeah.
Unless you are a unicorn.
Yeah.
And in this situation, the Big 12 had 3 unicorns like boom, 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 all in a row, which was fun to watch. But in 2007, KU had the best team.
Yep.
There was no question who was the best player. That was Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
right.
Facts.
All right.
Undeniable.
No, normally the team who wins it all
Usually best player on the best team gets player of the year.
And because normally the best player on the best team is that good.
Yeah.
And Jalen has been that good.
Yeah.
He's second in points and first in rebounding. 2008. Michael Beasley.
Yep.
They did not win the Big 12.
Nope.
But
he was best player.
Dan Beasley got buckets. And then in 2009, I believe they were all in a row. I want to say it was Blake Griffin.
That would track.
Yes, it was. It was Blake Griffin because his freshman year, he was a stud along with Beasley, but he got hurt, came back, and then he dominated everybody. And then they lost North Carolina in the Elite Eight. I was bummed because I had Oklahoma winning that year. So, to me, they did not win it that year. But when you got a Durant, Beasley, Griffin type of player.
Yeah, then it doesn't matter how well your team did. It is undisputed how great that guy is.
Yeah.
We don't have that in the Big 12 this year.
No,
we don't.
You don't.
And so I think, and that's the reason I think it's going to be Jalen. It's just, they're going to win the conference championship and best player on best team is going to get it. I'm not, K-State fans out there, I'm not going to blame you if you're going to get real upset and be mad that Jalen wins conference player of the year. Like we just said, Marquise has a fantastic case. Mm-hmm. He is very deserving. If he could get it, it's probably going to go to Jalen. It is what it is at this point, but I get it. And it is definitely, I'm with you, not exactly where I thought it was just even like a week ago, and realized, man, Marquise is kind of putting up better numbers than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's putting up incredible
He's
numbers.
doing great.
Yeah.
Overreaction, proper action, sticking with the Big 12 basketball conference and K-State. K-State's going to win the Big 12 championship tournament in Kansas City.
It's an overreaction because there are too many good teams.
Fair.
If you gave me KU and K-State,
you know what? Let's test that. What overreaction, proper reaction? KU and K-State are going to meet for the conference championship in Kansas City.
I guess they'll go overreaction because that's too specific, and I think one of them could get bounced. So I'm going to say,
okay,
I'll do that. That's more of like, do you think it will happen to me?
That's fair.
But either KU or K-State will win the Big 12 tournament. That I'll have to think about.
Might be the top two seeds.
Yeah, they could. That one might actually be more of a that could end up happening type of deal.
Yeah, good.
I would probably take those two. Because I don't think Baylor, and I really think three teams can win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's KU, K-State, and Texas. I don't think Baylor can run the rack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. So yeah, I can't go K-State. I'll say that's an overreaction.
That's fair.
I don't think K-State will win it just because it's so specific.
Yeah.
I'd rather take the field.
Okay.
Just because there's KU involved in that one.
That's fair.
Coming up next, we'll finish things off with a little Big 12 hoops. 2 games in action tonight. We'll get to that coming up here on Mic'd Up. Kansas City, gosh dang it. The undefeated Kansas City Royals are up 3-0 over the Milwaukee Brewers. Zach Greinke calling his own pitches. Will he give up a run calling his own pitches? Zach Greinke, 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 K.
Sounds about right.
Mr. Yarbrough, 1 inning, 1 K. We are 3 innings in, 1 hit, 2 Ks. And MJ Melendez doubling to left. Nick Lopez scoring after drawing a walk. And then Michael Massey. Is Massey's glove okay?
He was a minor league Gold Glove winner the year before he got called up last year. So yes. He's a very good. So this has been hypothesized by a couple of people, and I've jumped on the bandwagon here. Part of the reason his defense suffered last year is his arm's not strong. So he was hurt when he had to keep being played in short right field for the shift. It was longer throws, so it made it harder for him to consistently make good plays. I think Massey, you're going to see better defense this year at the big league level because there's no shifting anymore.
Ooh.
This is not my own personal. This is not my own personal hypothesis. This has been hypothesized by people a lot smarter than me in the business.
So hold on a second. You're telling me that he couldn't make a throw from left field to first? I feel like your arm should be able to make that throw.
Like, given some of the angles and the way it was increasing the distance, it was causing some problems.
Okay.
Because depending on where you are in short right field, that distance gets a lot longer than you think it is to make it versus the traditional second to first distance.
If Massey can play above average, because you're getting elite defense from
Nicky Lopez should already be a Gold Glove winner, and it's a crime that he hasn't.
But Massey, if he's above average,
which he will be,
then whoever hits the ball better.
His instincts, his reads, everything like that is stellar. His worst trait defensively is he has an average arm. Like, he doesn't have a cannon at second.
What's Nick's arm?
Pretty strong. Like, because like Massey would not survive at shortstop. He wouldn't be able to make some of those plays.
Yeah.
Nicky's played Gold Glove shortstop.
He's not Nolan Arenado. Arm.
No.
That dude's got a cannon.
Michael Massey's a lot better at baseball than me than every other thing. So I want to say that before I make this comparison. Michael Massey plays second base for similar reasons that I played second base. We were naturally fit for the infield, but our arm's not strong enough to play anywhere else.
All right. Well, as long as he's above,
he's better than me at everything else by miles. But I think we each have the exact same flaw of why we stuck at second, which is our arm isn't strong enough to play other places. I wish I had a lot of the other great things he could do, because then maybe I wouldn't be sitting here right now. But
you'd be you'd be playing for Oakland probably.
I take it, man. I hate every other part of my life, but I'd take the contract.
So the Royals are up 3-0, heading to the top of the fourth. Right now, down in Surprise. They are the home team today.
Good for them.
2 basketball games tonight in the Big 12. KU K-State taking care of business. Oklahoma State can punch their ticket into the Big 12 tournament. Lock it in if they get a win tonight. They take on Baylor. By the way, KU's ranked 3rd, Baylor ranked 8th, Texas 9th, KU or K-State 11th.
Mm-hmm.
The last 4 in. Oklahoma State is one of the last 4 ins according to ESPN. And so they're playing in Dayton. If Oklahoma State wins today and beats Baylor, I think they're in when it comes to they're not even in. They're not even going to Dayton if you beat Baylor tonight. That's how big this win is for Oklahoma State. This is to me, this is you want to be in, you win, and you are in if you are Oklahoma State. You have a terrific opportunity if you are Oklahoma State. Much like Texas Tech, who now is part of the first four out. Texas Tech, you were 2 plays away from locking your spot in if you beat TCU on Saturday, but you didn't. You lost by 1. West Virginia, if you win at Iowa State, you don't have to sweat it out anymore. You are in.
Yeah.
You are in if West Virginia wins today at Iowa State. Oklahoma State, you are in. No questions asked if you win today, because the problem with that is Oklahoma State has to go to Texas Tech, which is a difficult place to win if you are not a top 5, a top 25 team. And then West Virginia, you got K-State at home, and K-State is playing very well. So this is your game if you are Oklahoma State and you are West Virginia. This is your chance. You are at home against Baylor. You beat Baylor. You are sitting pretty if you are Oklahoma State. So those are the 2 games tonight, and then of course KU in action coming up tomorrow. We'll finish things off. Coming up next, we've got the mic drop. We are going to hear from Matt Derrick and Andy Reid and Brett Veach. It is Combine Week. That is right. Get ready for some leaked Wonderlic scores and all sorts of good stuff.
It's a great time.
Skinny knees.
Quarterbacks with too small hands.
Yeah. All righty, what do you got for your mic drop?
I went to the Negro Leagues Museum on Saturday. It was great. It was awesome. If you have not gone to that museum in Kansas City yet, and you even lightly like baseball or just like learning things, go to it. It's a great experience. It was a very fun time. I'm super happy I finally went.
And
Loved every minute of it.
And you got a hat.
Yeah, I got this cool hat, Casey Monarch's hat while I was there, plus a free bobblehead.
Who's the bobblehead of?
Willie Wilson.
Nice.
Yes, now I can enjoy my other bobblehead at my desk.
Nice. I like that. My mic drop is that my favorite time of the year starts up. I love tournament basketball. MIAA tournament starts Wednesday. Then you got the Big 12 state tournament, sub-states, all of that. And tournament basketball is the best. Coming up, we got 580 Sports Talk.